Oh boy, I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad with this one. It's time for the dreaded waifu tier list video. I asked you all what video you wanted to see next and even put up a poll, and the video that won was the waifu tier list. But before I get into the actual tier list, I think I should explain why I haven't made a waifu tier list and kind of why I avoid talking about High School DxD's fan service as a whole. The biggest reason for me avoiding a waifu tier list is because I'm not really that attracted to anime women. Yeah, I know that's a crazy thing to say as a High School DxD channel, but it's kind of something that I had to get off my chest. There's really only been like 2.5 anime girls that I've ever really been attracted to, and that's Revi from Black Lagoon and Sawako from Kimi ni Todoke. And the other half is a High School DxD character, but I'll get to them later. But that's the biggest reason why I've been avoiding a waifu tier list, but there are some others. A big one being, I don't want to offend the anime fans by saying I don't like their waifu. And then the other really big one is I really think High School DxD's fan service is holding it back a lot. And that's kind of what my whole channel is about, talking about the good stuff that High School DxD does through the story, through its characters, because I really think under all the fan service, there's an actual great anime there. But anyways, that's enough of that little rant I was on. High School DxD waifu tier list, let's go. So here's the tier list, and of course I'll go through the tiers. You got twin. That means I mess with them pretty heavy. Those are your top tier women. Then you got solid, and of course that just means that they're solid. You got they aight, which just means they're alright. Good, decent, but not great. Mid is going to be in every tier list ever. And then you got the throw up emoji, which means they're terrible. So let's go ahead and get the elephant out of the room here. I know you can see them in the tier list. Let's go ahead and get Azazel out of the way. Azazel, as always, goes to the very top tier no matter what. Actually, I think Azazel gets his own tier. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a new tier called Unmatched. And that's exactly where Azazel goes. I mean, you can't top that aura. He's got the looks. He's got the talent. He's got the comedy. He's got the skill. He's got the IQ. He's got the durability. I'm just going through the anime TikTok things now. He's got it all, man. He's Azazel. Goat Zazel. That's not gay. That's just the truth. Easily goes into unmatched tier. If Azazel is on a tier list, he's going to be on the highest tier no matter what. Unless it's like the garbage character tier list. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. Or let's get into the other characters here. Next up is LaFay Pendragon, and well, I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes trying to think of something to say about her, and I just can't come up with anything. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like mid. Get her out of here. We don't care about you. I don't even know why you're here. Think this is a game? Alright, next up is Rias's mom, and this seems to be a fan favorite here, and I'm gonna have to disagree with all the fans. Sorry people, stay mad. She's mid. I kinda don't like her because of how she was trying to force Issei and Rias's relationship. We really don't need her here. You can take the day off, buddy. Go ahead, do the walk of shame to the mid tier. And I don't think she even looks that good either. She kind of looks like Rias if she had normal looking hair, which kind of takes away what was cool about Rias. So Rias's mom, get out of here. Next up is probably the fan favorite, Akano. And I could do the Akano skit again, but I'm not going to. Akano comfortably slides into the they aight tier. Super comfortable right there. That's exactly where she needs to go. Did you guys hear that? Who could possibly be ringing the doorbell at this time of night? I guess we gotta go see. Wait, didn't this happen last time? Last time I made a tier list with Akano in it, I ended up getting attacked by Akano herself. I'm not gonna fall for that one again. I'll stay right here. Oh my god! What was that? Someone just broke through the window. Wait, I can hear them coming. I can't see their faces. What do you want? Akano Himajima! Akano Himajima! Akano Himajima! What are they doing? What are they saying? Ah, they're surrounding me! Help! Someone please! Someone help! Yeah, I don't know what I was doing again. I actually kind of want to see how editing me is going to execute that. But anyway, obviously I was trolling about the Akano take again. I think looks-wise, Akano probably is the best looking character. Her fake little personality that she likes to use, I don't really like, but her real one is cool. So she could be my twin. Speaking of twins, next up is Rias. Rias is cool too. I don't really have anything against her. I like her personality more than I like Akano's, but I think Akano still looks better. So we'll just call it a draw and put them both in the twin tier. I'm here to end this whole little waifu war that's going on between those two. Just follow me, everybody. I got the answers. Next up is Aika Kiryu. She's how I imagine Sandy from SpongeBob is if she was a human. She's also a little too weird for me. I mean, she's basically just the female version of Matsuda and Motohama, and those two are like the last people I'd ever want to be friends with or be associated with, so I'm definitely gonna have to put her in the throw up tier. Next up is Issei Hyodo. Issei is not waifu material at all. He's the complete opposite. He's dumb, he's kind of ugly, he's funny, I guess. That's something. So would I date Issei if I ever had the chance? I think I'd rather spend the rest of my life laying on a bed of nails. Definitely in the throw up tier. Next up is Ross Weissa, and the creator of High School DxD is the biggest liar ever, because I looked up Ross Weissa's age and it says 19. You would think by the way she talks about herself that she was hitting 40. There's actually just no way. I won't believe it. This is just misinformation. I would have a better time believing Azazel likes honey mustard than I would believing Ross Weissa's 19. No, I wouldn't. Azazel would never like something that disgusting. But I don't believe she's 19. When I was an anime watcher only, I was a strong believer in the Azazel x Ross Weissa relationship. So you can imagine my heartbreak when I found out that she doesn't end up with Azazel. I almost started crying. But yeah, I'm getting way off track here. Ross Weissa, she's cool. She dresses really nice, but she complains a little too much. She'll go into the solid tier. Next up is Sona, and I think y'all are sleeping on Sona. I like Sona a lot. I like her because she feels different from all the other characters. Pretty much every character in the series is like a powerhouse, and that's cool and all, but sometimes you want to switch it up, and that's why I like Sona so much, because she's smart. She makes things more interesting, like the rating game against Rias. She almost won with her brain alone. So Sona, you can go into the solid tier. Next up is Gasper, and there's been this weird rumor going around that I have a thing for Gasper just because he's my outro character, or just because I play him for my outro. And this rumor is completely ridiculous. I like Gasper because he completely changed my mind. When Gasper was first introduced, I thought he was the most annoying character ever. He was crying all the time, he was pretty useless, and I wasn't really messing with that. But over time, and as the series progressed, I started liking Gasper more and more. Until eventually in season 4, when he came through during the Cyber rating game, that's when I started putting respect on Gasper's name. Gasper definitely isn't a character I'm attracted to. He's like a little brother, or like a son. You know what? I'll make a new tier called My Son, and that's exactly what Gasper is. And now I can look at him like a proud father. So Gasper, you can go into the My Son tier. Next up is Yasuka, and she also seems to be a fan favorite, and I don't really know how I feel about her. She's alright. And actually, speaking of alright, I just realized I haven't used the They Are Right tier, so I might as well just go ahead and get rid of it. But anyways, Yasuka, I mean, she looks fine, I guess. Next up is Ravel, and Ravel's a weird one. I don't really like Ravel's personality at all. I'm not a big fan of the tsundere or whatever you call it. I don't know. There's like 100 of those things. And I also think she kind of just comes out of nowhere in this series. But she's not really bad either. So maybe I shouldn't have got rid of the They Are Right tier, because that's where she would be. But I don't really feel like adding that back in, so I'll just put her in the mid tier. Next up is Kuroka, and this is also like a fan favorite. This might be the most fan favorite random character, and I can see why. Kuroka does actually look pretty good, and she's also pretty funny. She has this one scene where she gets annoyed at Issei for repeating what she's saying. I think it's kind of funny because it kind of feels like a fourth wall break. So I think Kuroka can sit pretty comfortably in the solid tier. Maybe a twin, I don't really know. It's hard to say. I'll keep her in solid for now. Next up is Kiba, and Kiba is my twin. I mean, he sparkles when he walks. He lights up any room he's in, and he's just so good. I mean, this dude can fight, especially in the light novel. So far in the light novel, I have been so impressed by Kiba. He is so good. So yeah, Kiba can be my twin. Next up is Rainier, and I don't really like Rainier. Don't like manipulators, don't like liars, I don't like psychos, I definitely don't like murderers. I mean, what is there to like about Rainier? She killed Issei, she killed Asya. I just don't see the appeal of her character. Next up is Holy Mid. Is that Tsubaki? Yeah, buddy. Tier list maker, you're cooked. What's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? Tsubaki is a very mid character. She doesn't even know who she wants to be. 1 second, she's fighting with a little stick, and then the next she's using powers. On one end, she's trying to look like Sona, and then on the other, she's trying to look like Akano. Like, can you be your own character, please? Definitely goes to the mid tier. Next up is Konako, and I don't really see the appeal of Konako. I think she's a good character, and I like where they're going with her character. She just looks a little too young for me. So I guess for Konako, I'll make her own tier, and that tier will be called Too Young. Konako is a good character for other reasons, definitely not because of her waifu-ness or whatever. So Konako, you can go into the Too Young tier. And next up, I guess, is Asya, but Asya falls into the same category as Gasper. I don't really find Asya attractive at all, but Asya is just like Gasper, in the way that I kind of see her as like my son. You know, she kind of has that same thing that Gasper has, where she's kind of annoying at first, mainly just her voice. But as the series progresses and as you get to know her, she becomes way more bearable and you actually start to like her. Or at least that's how it should be, but a lot of people still don't like her for some reason. She definitely goes into the my son tier though, since it's basically the same thing with Gasper, watching those two grow and going from kind of annoying to actually being pretty cool. But next up is Irina, and I think Irina is the definition of a solid character. I think I said this in my tier list video too, but I really like Irina's hair. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I just really like her hair. Her and Ravel easily have the best hair in the series, so they get bonus points for that. But like I said, Irina is also pretty funny, but she's also kind of annoying with her religious faith. She's a little too much into it. It's almost creepy. But besides that, she's a fine character. Next up is Yuba Luna, and come on tier maker, why are we putting these trash people in the tier list? What does Yuba Luna bring to the table? I think Yuba Luna might be the only high school DxD character that I would call ugly. And that's probably just me. I don't know what it is. She kind of looks like a witch, but not one of the cool looking witches. She looks more like one of the Minecraft witches. And she also goes around just blowing people up, so that's not really cool. Definitely a throw up character. Next up is Catalya, and oh my god, Catalya is way too into herself and way too dumb for me to care about her. Like, as a devil, you should know how strong someone like Sir Zex is, or even how strong someone like Azazel is. Like, you should have that devil's instinct to know it. And you should also have that instinct to know how strong you are. But for some reason, despite knowing how strong she was compared to someone like Sir Zex or Azazel, she still decided that it would be smart to attack not just Sir Zex, not just Azazel, not just Michael, not just Grafia, not just the Red Dragon Emperor, not just Sir Zex's sister, but also 20 other kids who know how to use their powers. Like, what are we even doing here? Definitely a throw up character. Next on the list is Grafia, and Grafia is pretty cool. She's nice and chill, and I will say, she's also one of the better looking characters. She is a little strict, but that's alright. She can definitely go into the solid tier. And I guess I might as well just go ahead and get these other two out the way. Mattel and Carla Warner. Nobody cares about them. Boo. Throw up, whatever. Nobody cares. And then the last person on the tier list is Zenobia. And you remember in the beginning of the video when I said that I've been attracted to probably 2.5 characters? Well, Zenobia is that half. She is that half character that I was talking about. And that's because Zenobia reminds me of myself more than any other character in this series. Basically, all the characters are completely different from me. But Zenobia is the one character that I can say that I can relate to. The one character that shares a similar personality to me. And of course, that means she has my favorite personality. So Zenobia, you can join Azazel in the unmatched tier. Good night. That video was actually kind of rough. It's basically impossible to make a waifu tier list when you don't find 90% of these characters attractive. Like, really? Yuba Luna? Rainier? I'm drowning in mid over here. So I would say any character from solid and above are the characters that have good looks. And that's really why I have been avoiding this topic for so long, is because all these characters just look like characters to me. I don't think of them as real people. I don't think of them as potential wives. I don't have any intention of getting any figures of them or getting any body pillows of them. They're just characters that I like. And I think it's important to make that distinction between reality and fantasy, because it can be really dangerous if you do genuinely start to see these characters as like real people or whatever. It can really be damaging to your mental health. So I would just say be careful with that. And I know this video or this tier list ranking probably gonna get on a lot of people's nerves. So if I offended you by putting your waifu in a low tier, I'll say I'm sorry. Don't take this too seriously. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.